President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, will plead guilty to misdemeanor charges for failure to pay federal income tax, as well as enter into a pre-trial diversion agreement regarding a separate gun charge. The terms of this deal, as well as the ongoing investigation into the Biden family influence peddling, raises questions from many about sweetheart deals and a two-tiered system of justice. Join me now to discuss this and much more, Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. He serves on the Senate Homeland Security Committee, the Senate Budget Committee, and the Senate Finance Committee. Senator, welcome back to the program. Good to see you.
Well, Tony, good to be back.
Now, you've spoken out against the Hunter Biden plea deal, saying that we do not have equal application under the law as we look at this. Explain that.
Well, I do think this deal stinks to high heaven. I semi-predicted it. I was always concerned that there would be some kind of deal that would downgrade the charges to something pretty minor. And what I hope, the further part of my prediction doesn't come true, but I think it probably will. Part of that plea agreement would be to seal the records, so the American public will never know the full truth. It's also suspicious that Attorney Weiss, in his announcement, said the investigation is still ongoing. The reason I view that with suspicion is certainly Senator Grassley and our investigation into the corrupt Russian collusion hoax investigation was frustrated because there was an ongoing John Durham investigation. So even though we subpoenaed Christopher Wray, we could not get access to the records that we really needed in time to actually get them in front of the American public before an election. So I'm just really afraid that the timing of this stinks. I'm afraid this is all going to be used to deep six the information. The American public will never know the truth.
Well, if he's entering into an agreement and he's pleading, how can there be an ongoing investigation?
Well, that's a good question. And again, this is the classic ruse that the Justice Department and the FBI uses to prevent Congress from obtaining information. And let's face it, the FBI just might have a very good excuse for not turning over, for example, its investigatory files on the FD 1023 allegations from that credible human source, apparently having somebody accuse President Biden and Hunter Biden of taking $5 million in bribes each, possibly accompanied by 15 recordings of Hunter Biden discussing the bribe and 2 recordings of President Biden. So that'd be a convenient way to sweep that under the rug by just saying, well, we looked at that. That was part of our investigation into Hunter. We just didn't see anything to it. So that's all part of the sealed records. Again, I don't know that's going to happen. I'm suspicious it might.
Well, I think you're right to be concerned that that may occur, given the fact that what we've seen to date, and just to explain this to our viewers and listeners, Congress has a constitutional role to oversee the executive branch. It's why you have hearings. And you've requested these documents, this information, but if I'm not mistaken, most of what you've gotten has been redacted. I mean, they've blocked out a lot of these documents that are not even classified.
Well, what's interesting is Senator Grassley, he had a whistleblower come to him. So he viewed the 1023 document in a lightly redacted form. When Christopher Wray finally relented to the contempt threat by James Comer, he delivered that 1023 in a reading room to committee members, but he redacted out the portion where there were 17 potential recordings being reported to that confidential human source. Now, why would he do that other than to cover up for the Bidens? He also didn't talk about the other 1023s that were contained in the footnotes. And when he finally turned those 1023s, those investigatory reports over to Congress, those also were heavily redacted. So they're playing cat and mouse for really no good reason, from what I can tell.
But this is the role of Congress, is it not?
Yes. Yes, you know, we are supposed to be a co-equal branch of government. You know, unfortunately, prior Congresses have willingly given so much of their constitutional authority over the executive branch. The presidents have always been, happy to accept that authority. I think oftentimes it's been to avoid accountability, but over the years, over the decades, our oversight capability has been dramatically weakened. We don't have very powerful enforcement powers. We can hold somebody in contempt. We could send our sergeant of arms to arrest somebody. I don't know when the last time that has ever happened. There's going to be obviously a great reluctance to do so, but something like that may be required here in the future to reclaim our constitutional authority.
I think drastic measures are needed in drastic times. We're up against a break, but we're in Iowa. And does this need to become a campaign issue for Republican presidential candidates, that they will get to the bottom of this and hold individuals accountable?
Well, certainly the multi-tier system of justice needs to be a campaign issue. And when I say multi-tier, you've got the FBI, you've got the Department of Justice targeting individuals like Donald Trump. Then you've got a system of justice for most of us, and we better comply with the laws because we're not going to get this sweetheart deal in the third tier system, which is designed to protect powerful Democrats like Hunter Biden and Joe Biden.
Senator, always great to see you. Thanks so much for taking time to join us today.
Say hi to Lindsay for me.